Greetings YouTube. This is the base to my new drill press. And this is the stand I want to put the base on. The astute among you will notice that the base and the stand are not the same size. So I have this piece of plywood which I'm going to use to create a transfer plate. So I'm going to bolt the plywood to the stand and then going to bolt the base to the plywood. And it will all become one cohesive unit when I'm finished. So the first part is going to be marking the stand and then putting holes in it so I can use fasteners. And I will be using these as fasteners. Now I chose this particular fastener because it's 5/8 inch long and I'm using 3/4 inch plywood, and I couldn't find any fasteners of the 5/8 inch length that weren't Phillips head. I couldn't find any star drives or any square drive, so I decided to go with these because they are not Phillips head, because I despise Phillips head. I think it's a horrible design. It just strips out so easily, and I really want this to be easy to put together and not strip. So I'm just going to use this, and I have a nut driver, and I'll just drive it right through. I will probably put small pilot holes, even though these are self-starting. I'll probably still put a little divot just so I have something to go and bite into once I know where I want everything to be after I have drilled the holes in the base. So I'm probably going to put 2 holes in these this side, and then probably 4 in that, and that will give me a total of 12 holes to hold this together, and I think that should be quite sufficient to keep the plywood fastened to the base to my satisfaction. And then I'm going to use those 2 big holes right there to fasten the base to the plywood itself. Also, the plywood will help give this thing a little bit more mass. And there's a reason it's the size it is, and I will explain that reason later. So next up, it is to mark this with a punch so that I have a nice little divot to drill into and start drilling. And here we go with all the holes drilled. And if you're not careful, you can snap a drill bit in half. I put too much pressure on it, and I didn't actually measure these. I just eyeball them. For eyeballing it, it's not too bad. I just put a divot in the sheet metal and then went and drilled the holes. Now I'm going to turn it over, figure out where I want it placed on the plywood, and then we're going to drill some little divots for the screws. And there we go. It's not fastened at the moment because we haven't assembled the drill, but that's what it's going to look like. Now you're going to be asking for yourself probably, why is this thing so big? Also, my plan is to knock off the corners here, round these over a little, so that they're not going to be whacking. I'm not going to whack myself on it. But I know that eventually I'm going to be working on this, so I want to place stuff, put things. Also, this allows me the opportunity to drill holes to put things on here that I may be using on a regular basis. Fixtures I build, Forstner bits I may end up using, and I can store them right on the base. So I can just drill holes, drop them in the back, and I don't have to worry about where they are. So that's one of the reasons I got this oversized. And once this thing is completely assembled, this is going to be much more stable because the drill is bloody heavy. I had to use a dolly to get it down here. I was by myself. So now it's just going to be a matter of cleaning this up so it looks nice, and sanding all the edges so that they're not sharp. And then we can assemble the drill. And here we go, folks. The final shot. One assembled drill press. I'm probably going to put some plywood down there so I can use that shelf more effectively and more efficiently, and it'll be more stable. And my wife would like me to put in some cross braces to make this slightly more stable, because I mean, I think it's plenty stable, but cross braces wouldn't hurt. And I have some L bracket already, long ones, which I got for nothing at somebody's driveway. They just gave them away. So there's the 2 bolts that hold the table together, and then there are 4 bolts that hold the shaft to the base, and everything else is actually movable. So this unlocks the table, which can then freely swing out of the way. This here is a collar which has a bevel in it to take the top of this channel, and then there's a bevel here to take the bottom of the channel, and this whole thing can just swing out of the way in case I want to set up something larger here. Then this will accept. Also, this collar comes off really easily, and this is just held in place with one set screw, so I can adjust this head to a different angle if I need to. Say if I need to drill something very large and I want to have it offset, I can do it offset without any difficulty, in either direction. This is my light here, and I have a laser. I don't know if it's going to show up or not. Oh, hold on a second. Here we go. I have a laser, and there's two of them actually, and I can adjust them to set up layout lines and things like that. The lasers, there's two of them, are battery powered. The light is wired into the drill press itself. And speaking of drill presses, there we go. And that's actually faster than I'm going to need it, so I'm going to have to figure out what speed, because I'm going to primarily be drilling metal, so I'm going to need to have a low speed. And there is my chuck key. And over here I have the two Allen wrenches that came with the drill for the collar and the head, and this is the chuck extraction tool. There's actually, if you extend this all the way down, you bring it all the way down, there's a slot, and you can put that wedge in the slot, and then you drive it through to knock the head out, knock the chuck out, in case you need to put a different one in there, if you want a different size, or this one gets damaged, things like that. One thing they could have done is that there is an adjustment way down here. You see that hex head right there? That hex head lets you change the angle, which is a nice feature, but they don't provide you with a wrench. That would have been a perfect opportunity. They could have stamped this out at all the, this is just stamped steel. They could have stamped it out at the same time, and you would have been all set. And I have that metal strip there, that magnetic strip there, for this purpose, so I could hang up tools that I'm not using, but I want readily available when I'm working on the drill press. And of course, this being my shop, I have numerous sharp and bludgeoning objects hanging everywhere. So I'm very, very happy with this. I'm quite pleased. And and for those that have been following my bargain videos, I talked about the fact that I got this main light here above my head for $3 at a yard sale. Then I paid $10 for bulbs. Then I bought this one at a yard sale, an estate sale, for $8 complete. Well, I finally got a third one, so now I have light on both sides of my vise, which is going to make using the vise much easier. And I've set it up so that it's clear of the door, so I can swing the door without a problem. And I paid $2, bulbs included, for this light. Yeah, awesome. I mean, that's what, $23. I put $23 into this, and I've got 12 feet of light for $23. You can't beat that, folks. One of these new, just the lights goes for $20. No bulbs, just the light itself goes for $20 at Home Depot. So for $23, I got 3 of them. All it takes, man, is to keep your eyes open, and you find things. And of course, I've got this one, which is the one wired to the basement lights themselves. If I really, really want one, I got one way over there for the power box, which is, you know, kind of funny because the power box is its own light bulb. But if the power's out, you can't use it. But yeah, whatever. So this is the a stop here with a right angle stop, so I can set up fixtures and get repeatable measurements. And I do have a small vise upstairs, which I need to go get and bring down, because I actually would like to do a project. And I may be able to reuse these, which are completely separated. They're completely free. Maybe I can use those on the vise, which would be really nice, because it means I wouldn't have to get another set for the vise. I'm gonna go find that out. I haven't tried that yet. I forgot to bring the vise down. But yeah, folks, really, really happy. Okay, here is the vise installed. Now this isn't a proper low profile machinist vise. This is a vise that can be used obviously for machining. It's got a square bottom, and it's a nice quality vise, but I picked this up at a yard sale, I know a decade ago for like 10 bucks. I think I paid for it. And one of the things I like about it, it's got this right here so I can lock it in place, which makes, you know, some subtle adjustments much easier. Now this isn't obviously this is not in a position where I'd be drilling with it. What I did have to do is I opened these jaws all the way up, turned it upside down, because the first thing I had to do on my drill press was open up these holes. I was hoping I could reuse those fasteners from my stop fence, but the bolts were not long enough. They just barely came like above the flush. So I went out and got some 5/16 bolts, 2 washers for each bolt, and a nut. I don't need lock washers on this. There's 2 of these things and ain't going nowhere. I'm not putting this under that kind of strain. And let's face it, if you're doing a project and you're not going to the hardware store at least once, you're not doing it right. And this project has taken 2 trips, because I had to go to the first trip, which was get the wood and all the hardware for the wood. But so yeah, so my first project on this was to use my drill to modify the vise so I could set it up on my drill press. So there you go. All set up and ready to go. Obviously, I'm not going to be using the vise all the time, but it's nice that I have it and that I can set it up. I can rotate this very easily. There's a locking collar here, which lets me rotate this. I can slide it in an arc without any difficulty. I can rotate it here, so I'm going to be able to put this exactly where I need it, which is quite handy. So in the future, this will be playing a major part in my my projects. I've been looking forward to having my own drill press for as long as I can remember. I have wanted my own, and now I have it. I am a very, very happy junksmith, as someone so appropriately christened me. So next up will probably be some kind of weapons build. I've got at least 5 current ideas kicking around in my head, and I have the hardware stuff, most of the materials already here to go forward with them. I think I actually have enough the stuff to go through forward with 2 of them already ready to go. So hopefully I'll be able to get to that in the near future. But thank you for being here for this project. I'm a happy boy, and I hope all of you folks have the tools you want.